It's Wednesday night, time for some straight talk. We have a lot coming at you. I got a manscaping story that you won't want to miss. How should I dish out the punishment? Yeah, maybe you ought to do is give me a little tips here, but special thanks to our sponsors, Eat24.com. If you haven't ate yet, log on to Eat24.com, download that app for your favorite mobile device, click, order, and eat. It's a food truck in your pants. Really, it's just that easy. Also, HotSauceVault.com. Check out Louie at HotSauceVault.com. Hottest of the hot, wimpy for the wimp. You want it, they got it. Gag gifts, they got everything. Also, if you didn't get them a Christmas present, send them some hot sauce. Also, Lyft, Lyft. Need a ride somewhere? Call them. Lyft will get you there. We have, you can interact with the show multiple ways. You can reach me on Twitter, or you can do it at hashtag tweet Arm Radio, or you can call in live at 1-866-225-5401. Let me make sure my lines are forwarded over. And or you can actually call direct at 712-522-4689. And I'll get you on the Hot Sauce Vault Skype hotline. There you go. How's that? But, starting out with the news. What do you got? NFL regular season over. So now we got the playoffs. Of course, my Bears had no inkling of making the playoffs. And I was actually glad they lost the last game. I want them to do is get a high draft pick as they can get. But you got games coming up this weekend. You got wild card games. You got the Raiders going to play Texans Saturday. Lions play the Seahawks, so Mike Allen's going to be happy his Lions made the playoffs. Sunday's going to be Dolphins Steelers. And Sunday afternoon is going to be Giants and Packers. So those Packer fans will be happy that they're in the playoffs. So we'll see how that goes. But and waiting in the wings to be announced, you got the Falcons, Chiefs, Patriots, and Cowboys all with first-round byes. So it'll be interesting to see how the playoffs go out. But in the PGA Tour, Tiger Woods said to make his debut at the Farmers Insurance Open, also wants to commit to the Honda Classic. It's like 86 days and some change to the Masters. So I call it the official start or kickoff for the 2017 Tour. I know they do a wraparound season, but to me, it's always been the Masters for me. That's when golf really starts getting going. Really, because we don't start opening up here up in the Midwest till April. Hopefully we'll have weather that we'll be able to get open at that time. But the Torrey Pines is we're going to host. It's going to be January 26th to the 29th. So I want to see Tiger. I'd love to see him come out hot. I want to see him make a couple wins this year. It really, really helps with the tour. It helps with it's one of those deals where it helps push the business. Gets more people active involved in it, and I'd really love to see him, just get the tour presence back. Because, Tiger really does it. So, let me see here. Let me share this so we're, get some people. There we go. So, we have, also, PGA Tour. Let me get my files open here. But PGA Tour Commissioner Jay Monahan, he has plans of changing the schedule and TV rights. He's been just a PGA Tour Commissioner for a short period of time, but Monahan laid out a number of general plans, most notable being a restructuring of the PGA Tour schedule to avoid conflict with the NFL. And it makes sense. The certainty is something that we would like to see happen, Monahan said. Costa detailed the changes to include the Players' Championship moving back to March. So the PGA Championship moving up in the schedule to May and finishing with the FedEx Cup playoffs on Labor Day weekend. It says having a big events every month, Monahan, continue culminating in the FedEx Cup playoffs in August prior to the NFL season. That would be a very powerful schedule. I just hate seeing the season over in August. But so the tour's popularity and competition with other leagues are tied in part of their television rights and other avenue where Monahan expects change currently. The tour has contracts with CBS, NBC, and the Golf Channel that run through 2021, of which the tour can opt out of the former two in 2018, according to the report. Monahan said it would make sense to develop partial ownership of the golf network. So, I hate to see, them try to get too in deep into a golf network and then it not go and then hurt the tour. But, I think as long as you got Tiger there to help push the brand right now, you got to have the young guns. Jordan Spieth, apparently they currently he was at a tour event and they decided to mess with him. They took his parking spot sign, and apparently somebody turned it around, and he's starting the year off, with an old nickname at the SBS Tournament of Champions, where Spieth is defending champ. His parking spot was redesigned. Instead of Jordan Spieth, the sign was turned around with Golden Child scribbled across the back. It's a nickname Spieth had stated on several occasions he dislikes. On his media tour after the 2015 Masters, he said it was either Colt Knost or Robert Garrigus, I'm not sure who, started with the nickname, but it's not nice. What I say to them when they say it to me, I've been working on trying to keep it quiet. And this week isn't going to help. So, one of them is messing with him. So, I don't know who did it, but usually when a nickname is usually that comes out is not one you like. It's usually one that somebody else picks for you. My nickname from Joe Rocks is called, what's he call me? He's got a Yorkie. And it happened to be, I did the No Shave November a couple years, 2 years ago. And one of the ladies that said to me I looked like a Yorkie. And from then on, that was my nickname from Joe. And that's what he calls me all the time. I don't care. It doesn't bother me. I just thought it was kind of funny. But it kind of reminds me of the episode of Big Bang Theory when Howard Wolowitz wanted to name himself the Rocket Man, and he ended up getting named Fruit Loops because his mom was yelling how he wanted it, what he wanted his Fruit Loops or whatever, or his Fruit Loops are going to get soggy or something like that or whatever. And it was when he was on Skype. So I think that's kind of funny. And that's, how nicknames get. I had friends of mine, we had got nicknames down in Texas when we worked in law enforcement. It just how you get them. I talked about one just the other night. He was called Canine, his nickname, because if you had drugs in your car, he was going to find it. That's the way he was. But you have not always is a nickname that you get something that you like. So, but we have, I think Jordan Spieth will take it all in good stride. And then we have also Tiger Woods, with the Masters coming up, Tiger Woods is going to be is right now the most wagered golfer for 2017 Masters. There's so many bets going against him. And I bet you his odds are pretty high. So he said the biggest wager in Woods thus far, according to Forbes, is a $1,000 ticket posted. The Woods is 50-1 odds. It says Woods' 21 odds were tied for sixth bet at the time with Jason Day, the favorite, 8-1. Odds posted at Sportsbook now have Jordan Spieth, Rory McIlroy's co-favorites at 15-2, with Woods at 7th at 22-1. So, I mean, the odds are going to change a little bit, but you think that if you 22-1, I wouldn't mind, putting $1,000 on that, win $22,000. Yeah, that'd be nice. But I mean, the biggest thing, and people don't, you talk about making a bet. What's so hard for that is that bet right there. It's against the field. So, I mean, who would you take? Tiger Woods or the field? Well, odds are I'm going to take the field because you're more apt to have somebody else win, rather than Tiger come through and pull out. I mean, it's so tough, to win the Masters like that. So, and for him coming back, that's why they put the odds up there. In other tour news, we have, there was another one I saw. Oh, Rory McIlroy to use Callaway driver irons at South African Open. Apparently, Nike announced it's in August. It's leaving the business, leaving club business and golf ball business. Well, with that, they're leaving. It says, according to NoLayingUp.com report, McIlroy will use Callaway woods and irons when he makes his first start of 2017 at the BMW South African Open. The report also says he'll use the Odyssey putter and Titleist wedges and ball. McIlroy used TaylorMade M2 driver at the WGC HSBC Championship in China in October. So the report also says McIlroy will be playing Callaway's Great Big Bertha Epic Sub-Zero driver and custom Apex MB irons. Callaway spokesman told Golf.com on Saturday evening that the company was unable to provide comment on the matter. So they probably tight-lipped. 2 weeks ago, Tiger became the first marquee golfer to part ways with Nike, and he signed a multi-year contract deal with Bridgestone. I wonder if, whoever signs Tiger, that's going to be a big jump. And you got Rory leaving, but I heard Jason Day, there was a report out that Jason Day signed with Nike for clothing. So I'm like, I think they're going to get out of the business, but they're not out of the business. They're in clothing. So, that's the problem is, they just be in it for the clothing part. Some guys will, like the clothing and maybe, but you will see majority of people. But, there's a few other companies that are, like Tommy Hilfiger and that are in just the clothing aspect of it. So I don't know. I don't think they were selling a lot in the clubs aspect, but I don't know. It'll be interesting. Also, there was a former pro golfer from South Africa, and this is a weird story here. It says former South African pro golfer Wayne Westner shot and killed himself on Wednesday after allegedly holding his wife hostage at a Pennington, South Africa residence. Westner, 55, was one of South Africa's most prominent athletes during his golf career, which was cut short due to an injury in 1998. Westner shot himself in the head in front of his wife, and police said. Wow, that just got to be overwhelming. He had won 14 professional tournaments, including 2 on the European Tour. He reached a career high at 40th in the official world rankings. PGA golfer Ernie Els expressed sorrow for Westner's death on Twitter. Sad day, our friend Wayne Westner passed away. Great memories. Thank you, my friend, it said. I remember the name I just don't remember it very well. I know he passed, he played up until 98, but I don't remember him very well on tour. So, but he won 14 times. Great player. So, yeah, just sad to see somebody go to that extreme and do that. We have also, talking about the NFL a little bit earlier, Joe Theismann came out. And I was real surprised. He was a little vocal, but Theismann came out and slammed the 49ers. His former Redskins quarterback, Joe Theismann, isn't happy with San Francisco 49ers' decision to give Colin Kaepernick an award for inspirational and courageous player. Kaepernick sparked a national debate by kneeling during the national anthem before games as a way to protest racial injustice and police brutality. Kaepernick received the Len Eschmont Award last week. The prize, described as the team's most prestigious honor, its recipients is decided by players. Theismann noted that the team's 2-14 record during an appearance on Fox News on Tuesday and questioned what Kaepernick has inspired. He said everybody has the right to express their opinion, but not in the workplace. Theismann called on the NFL to adopt a policy requiring players to stand for the anthem. So, I mean, I got to agree with Theismann here is if it hurts your brand, like if a worker, let's say they dislike, for some reason they don't like a police officer. Well, I mean, they could sit there and call him a pig if they want, but if they're working at Starbucks or whatever, and this guy, or Panera's, and he walks in and he goes, "Hey, you effing pig." Well, you can't do that while you're working. You wouldn't be able to do that, to show, I don't know any business that would allow that. And the NFL took a serious hit for ratings because of, Colin Kaepernick doing what he did. The only thing that saved them, the ratings, and it's coming out as a news story, that the one thing that saved the ratings is Cowboys. The Cowboys having such success this year. It says Cowboys save NFL ratings from disaster with Super Bowl in sight. This is a Bloomberg.com news article. It says NFL ratings have recovered from steep losses. The league and TV network can thank one team in particular for helping to salvage the season. And you think about that, it says through week 16, 5 of the 6 most popular games featured the Dallas Cowboys. Its rookie stars rushing leader Ezekiel Elliott and quarterback Dak Prescott. That's according to ESPN. In the second half of the season, the Cowboys averaged 23.7 million viewers, more than last year's World Series 23.4 and NBA Finals 20.2. According to data from Fox, which carries Dallas games the most, late season games showed double-digit gains. There's not another brand in American sports that delivers that kind of impact. Michael Mulvihill from Fox Sports, Executive Vice President of Research, the Cowboys has always been the most popular team. Now we have resurgence, and that's great. So you look at audience in the millions. Washington, Dallas was 35.1. Dallas and Pittsburgh, 28.9. Dallas and Green Bay, 28. Minnesota, Detroit, 27.6. New York Giants versus Dallas, 27.5. And another game of Dallas versus New York Giants, 26.5. So, huge shot in the arm for NFL. Hopefully that it carries on throughout the rest of the season for them. That's what they're looking for. I did want to talk. Wait a minute. Before I get out of sports here, Spurs mascot apparently trolls Mariah Carey, and I'll be having to see Mariah Carey's, you would call debacle. But apparently the Spurs Coyote mascot expertly spooked Mariah Carey's infamous New Year's Eve performance on Tuesday. And there's video on it if you want to go on and see. It's on. You can find it on Trending Now on MSN. They had, what we got here? Do we have any other sports stories before we get out of here? Did have, Devin Hester is going to sign with the Seahawks just in time for the playoffs. So that one will be, he's been fighting at hamstring, hasn't had that great a year, but their return guy is out, and he's going to have surgery, so that's going to be something that they're going to be in need of. So probably be one of his last year, you would think. And also, Jrue Holiday, touched by LeBron James' gesture as his wife recovers from brain surgery, just like 2 or 3 weeks before their baby was born. Holiday's wife had to have brain surgery for let me see here. It said it was just weeks before she gave birth. It was a benign tumor. So he said, LeBron said that it's just family out here. He said so. He wanted to went over and just wanted to tell them how he was praying for their family when they heard about it. So that's pretty class. You like to see that. Right now, Bulls are playing Cleveland, 104-92. Bulls got the lead over Cleveland, and they were up by 16. I looked back, they're up by 6. Now I look back, they're up by 12. So I don't know. Bulls have been really up and down this year. It's just been just kind of wild to watch. And kind of the I don't know what you call it, news right now. Megyn Kelly. Megyn Kelly is, I don't know. Megyn Kelly reportedly being paid $15 to $20 million for her new gig at NBC. But apparently, Fox offered her $100 million package to stay. Mediate has learned that Fox offered Megyn Kelly even more than she's generally been reported, a whopping $100 million package to stay at the network and continue hosting her highly rated show. A source close to Kelly says the offer, which was $25 million per year for 4 years, came directly from Lachlan Murdoch, executive co-chairman of News Corp and 21st Century Fox. It says this is coming from Mediate. It says their sources tells us that New York Magazine reporter Gabriel Sherman scoop on Tuesday that Kelly went begging for $25 million late in their negotiation talks is entirely inaccurate. We are told unequivocally that Megyn Kelly never countered Fox's generous $100 million offer, but she has made up her mind to move on. In fact, Fox is far higher than financially than the one she ultimately accepted from NBC. So, I don't know. I think there's bad blood there. Yeah, for her to. Yeah, that's weird. So you look at Megyn Kelly. I don't know. It would be the Kelly file, or what will it be? So we have also what you got. How many days is it till inauguration? 15 days or something like that? Well, reality TV, I'm not sure how she pronounce it, Omarosa, hired for Trump's White House outreach. It says Omarosa Manigault is getting hired. Memorable contestant in the first season of The Apprentice, Manigault is expected to join President-elect Donald Trump's White House staff. According to two people familiar with the decision, her job is expected to focus on public engagement. Manigault was one of Trump's most prominent African-American supporters during his campaign have been working with him on the transition team. So she was, I guess I don't know how many, she went 8 or 9 weeks into The Apprentice before she got the axe, or what do they call it? You're fired. But yeah, pretty intensive. Yeah, you see her coming out. Also, anti-Trump activists plan on road blocking during, and make it an all type of cluster, you know what, on Inauguration Day. So it'll be interesting to see what they do to combat that. It says a moderate effort to pick up the parade route, but a more radical rabble seeks to shut down the show. Yeah, so the last time Republican was elected president after losing the popular vote, George W. Bush inaugural parade turned into a tunnel of boos and rude signs as eggs and some protesters flew over security fences toward the motorcade. Yeah, that's, that's when you're childish. So, with all the stuff that's gone on, and they talked about how Donald Trump had to accept the results of the election, and they won't. I still have people that I know on Facebook that are still bitching about it. So it just, I don't know what they're going to do to finally shut up. CNN under fire. Apparently CNN used a screenshot from Fallout 4, which is a video game, to use in connection to the Russian hacking. It said the thing about computer hacking is that it's such a general, far-reaching term that it's almost impossible to explain to someone who isn't familiar with it. So networks who need B footage to show, while they're talking hacking, usually just show keyboards or random. And they showed Fallout 4. And the gamers recognized it. So they come under a little bit of attack from that. But it says Julian Assange got interviewed by Sean Hannity. And it was a big interview. It says, with all the stuff going on, he says, he asked him, he goes, admit or whatever that it, or whatever, who is involved in the hack. And he said their source was not Russia, and it was not a State Department. He says it was, I'm sure what they're talking about, it was just an individual. So it'll be interesting to see where this goes. I mean, people have their dead set mind that it was Russia, but they don't say that Russia actually, they hacked the DNC's emails, but the stuff that came out for the emails, they can't deny was actually legitimate. So in other words, whether it was true or not, they're still mad. They say they influenced the election. Well, what influenced the election is how Podesta and Hillary Clinton and Debbie Wasserman Schultz and all the stuff that they were doing that stunk to high heaven. That's what influenced the election. Just because whoever released them to WikiLeaks, because they got sick and tired of seeing what was going on, that's what brought out the problem, where people were complaining about it. So, it's people sit there and they want to blame that Russia didn't do anything to the voting machines. They're making it sound like Russia got in there. Oh God, they went in and hacked all the voting machines. Well, no, they didn't. They actually, what they did was they brought out information, and Russia never released it. They're saying it says that what happened is the information got released by a disgruntled possibly, this is what I heard, a disgruntled Democrat because they were upset with what happened to Bernie Sanders. And that's very possible. You don't know. I mean, it's and Assange said they never released their sources, and their sources are 100% credible. Well, Podesta's password was the word password, and I'm like, who uses that? That's just stupid. Assange said a 14-year-old could have hacked him, and probably had. So. No, it's I don't know what they're going to do to try to heal this, but they're talking about repealing Obamacare. But I heard one guy say tonight, is if they repeal Obamacare and they put in something that doesn't go, everything that they just did is going to go whoop right back on them. So you got to look at it as that. Make sure what you're going to do is going to be better, because if it's not, you're going to take the hit for it. But talking about CNN been making all these statements against WikiLeaks. Apparently, says WikiLeaks, we have issued instructions to sue CNN for defamation unless within 48 hours they air a 1-hour expose of the plot. So this is coming out through WikiLeaks. It says CNN airs ex-deputy director of the CIA falsely calling Assange a pedophile. Twitter.com Newsday status. So this is it's going to get crazy. We'll see what happens there. Also in Washington Post is richly rewarded for fake or false news about Russia. Threat while public is deceived. It says 6 weeks, the Washington Post published 2 blockbuster stories about the Russian threat that went viral. One on how Russia is behind the massive explosion of fake news. The other, how it invaded the U.S. electric grid. Both articles were fundamentally false. Each now bears a humiliating editor note grudgingly acknowledged that the core claims of the story were fiction. The first note was posted a full 2 weeks later to the top of the original article. The other was buried the following day at the bottom. The second story on the electric grid turned out to be far worse than I realized. This is Glenn Greenwald who wrote this article. He says, when it became clear that there was no penetration in the U.S. electricity grid, as the Post had claimed, in addition to the editor's note, the Russian hacked our electric grid story now has a full-scale retraction in the form of a separate article admitting that the incident is not linked to any Russian government effort to target or hack the utility. And there may not even been malware at all on this laptop. But while these debacles are embarrassing for the paper, they are richly rewarding that because journalists, including those at the Post, aggressively hype and promote the original sensationalistic false stories, ensuring that they go viral, generating mass traffic for the Post. The paper's executive director, Marty Barron, recently boasted about how profitable the paper has become. After spreading the falsehoods far and wide, raising fear levels, and manipulating U.S. political discourse in the process, both Russia stories were widely hyped on cable news. Journalists who spread the false claims subsequently note their retraction or corrections only in the most muted way possible. Yeah, big story on page 1, retraction on page 8. Yeah, that's what I hate. You know, you defamate somebody's character on page 1. Oh, we're sorry, we'll put a print of retraction on page 8. Nobody sees the page 8 retraction, or very few do. Very few people read the cover news. So, you know, they sit there and they put up all this stuff. Well, what's going on? Well, went out reported today that, and this one kind of has me a little worried here, because this is a freaky story to see. It says right here, I'll get into this other story later, but this is a result of all the news media coming out. But after this is one that came out, and this is in the Sun. It says the Sun UK. It says war games. U.S. sends special forces to the Russian border as NATO is poised to strike back against Vladimir Putin's aggression. So what are we going to do? We're going to go to war with Obama. Going to go to war a couple weeks before he goes out of office? Are you kidding me? It says tension between Washington and the Kremlin have reached Cold War levels amid Vladimir Putin is deploying nuke-ready missiles in the Russian province of Kaliningrad, which borders Poland, Belarus, and Lithuania. Lithuanian Defense Ministry spokesman Asta Goldakite, I'm not confirmed, America has offered additional military support following Russia's annexation of Crimea. She says the United States was the first to offer additional safety assurance measures to the Baltic countries following the deterioration of the security situation in the region after the annexation of Crimea. She added U.S. Special Forces presence in Lithuania is one of the deterrents against military threats by Putin's aggressive regime. So what are they going to do? They're going to do is start a war, and they were worried about whether Trump was going to start a war, and President Obama is going to start a war right before he goes out of office. I said, this is real. This isn't a joke, you know. I said they're going to poke the bear, and I don't think they're going to like what comes back. He needs to do is watch what he's doing, you know. Well, with all the stuff that's been going on, it said Washington Examiner did a poll, and it came out that CNN least trusted among likely voters. CNN is least trusted by likely voters than its competitors at MSNBC and Fox News, according to a new study. The study conducted by Rasmussen reports that 75% of likely voters tend to watch at least some cable news per week to keep up with politics. Among that group, 42% watch Fox News and 35% watch the other, but CNN ranked in the bottom. Well, I don't blame it. I'll tell you what, if you get somebody that would, during the campaign, that they would start to get critical on Hillary, oh my God, we lost their feed. Oh, is it amazing? We lost connection with them. I don't know what happened. And it's just so obvious. I mean, you'd still see the background. So, yeah. It says, but WikiLeaks is offering $20,000 reward. It says, and this come out, it says to catch Obama administration destroying documents. It says, we are issuing a $20,000 reward for information leading to the arrest or exposure of any Obama administration agent destroying significant records. So that would be interesting. I'm wondering if when they leave the White House, if it's going to be the same deal when the Clinton administration left the White House and destroyed a lot of stuff in there and took a lot of stuff. So, yeah. Nobody likes losing. But, he didn't run, so he didn't lose. He couldn't run. But nobody likes, having to do is move out of there. Yeah, it's not one to do or want to do, but, hey, it's part of our democratic society. So, on Inauguration Day, apparently, and this is, Jimmy's going to love this, but I don't know if it has to be there, but it says, Washington, you might catch a strong smell of marijuana on Inauguration Day. It says that's because there will be thousands of joints handed out for free by the D.C. Cannabis Coalition. So it says It all starts at 8 a.m. January 20th on the west side of DuPont Circle. Then marchers will walk around the National Mall where the real protest will begin. The main message is to legalize cannabis at the federal level. Adam Eidinger, the founder of DCMJ, a group of D.C. residents who introduced and helped get Initiative 71 passed in the district. Initiative 71 made it legal to possess 2 ounces of marijuana, to grow it, and to give it away. But it's not legal to sell it. Eidinger worried, though, that all this progress will be lost with the Trump administration, specifically with Trump's pick for Attorney General Jeff Sessions. See, we're looking at this guy who recently, as of April, said we're going to enforce federal law on marijuana all over the country. He said marijuana is dangerous. So the great marijuana giveaway is legal as long as it's done on D.C. land. We don't want money exchange whatsoever. This is really a gift from people who come to Washington, D.C., he said. There will be 4,200 gifts. To be exact, then at 4 minutes and 20 seconds into Trump's speech is the internationally known code for weed. They'll light up that part that's most definitely illegal. We're going to tell them that if they smoke on federal property, they're risking arrest. But that's form of civil disobedience, said Eidinger. I think it's a good protest if someone wants to do it. They're risking arrest. But it's a protest, you know what? The National Mall is a place for protest. Eidinger said it's certainly not an anti-Trump event or even an attempt at disrupting the ceremony. Everyone is welcome. If there are people from Texas, some Cowboy fans who is walking down the street in a cowboy hat and a big fur coat, he walks up to our demonstration. I want him to feel welcome coming to D.C., he said. Eidinger said the D.C. Cannabis Coalition is hopeful the new administration will not be a problem, but they're preparing for the worst. So, free marijuana, Jimmy. So, go to D.C. I don't think he'll make the trip that far for it, but they also had, with the current administration, one of the records that they set, 27 million guns sold in 2016. Driven by terror threats and a potential Hillary Clinton administration, sales of guns in America soared to record levels. In 2016, according to the FBI, just released FBI background check numbers, which roughly equate gun sales, told some 27,538,673. 4 million more than in 2015 and nearly double that from years before. That's crazy. 27 million. And you know what's sad about it is? I take it back. I bought one. I take it back. So I did. I had to think about that. You see arguments on Facebook and stuff like that. Apparently, Facebook argument got a little overboard, and 4 people shot. It says 4 people shot in Allen after argument on Facebook escalates. It says an altercation began on Facebook, ended with 4 people injured by gunfire in Allen late Tuesday night. A group of 7 people in Allen argued online with 9 people in Dallas for several hours Tuesday, according to the Allen Police Department news release, which said the argument was over an incident that occurred in Dallas a few years ago. But the nature of the incident is not known. So the 9 people from Dallas drove to Allen in 2 vehicles, and the altercation resumed in the street. Both groups threatened each other just after 11:30 p.m. A street fight erupted into shooting in the 500 block of Hawthorne Drive. The news release said 4 people in Allen group were injured in the shooting. They were taken to the hospital with non-life-threatening injuries. So they were just like throwing down. So, I mean, Facebook arguments gone wild. I don't know. I did have a story I wanted to talk about, and talked about manscaping. And you know what manscaping is? It's where you groom yourself. So, well, technically not manscaping, but the term I don't know of any other way. So I walked upstairs, and I was getting ready for my show, and I was doing stuff. Well, I had a few minutes. I was going to run upstairs and get a glass of water. And so I walk upstairs, and my son's talking, my youngest son, who's 11, he's talking to my wife, and he pauses and just looks at me like this shocked look, like, oh my God, I'm in trouble. I can't say anything. And he just started to tell my wife a story. And I was like, okay, what's he saying? And I said, what's going on, buddy? And he wouldn't come out. He goes, well, I cut myself. And I'm like, really? I said, where'd you cut yourself? And he goes, down here, and he points at his groin area. And I'm like, what? And he goes, I'm like, what were you doing? Well, I was trying to cut something, and I slipped and cut myself. I said, so when you were trying to cut something and you cut yourself, you had to have your pants off when you did this. And he's like, I said, just go ahead and tell us, buddy. It's all right. So he says, well, and I had to laugh. I'm sorry, I just did. But he said, my hair was starting to get a little long down there, so I wanted to trim it. And I said, oh, okay. I said, so what were you going to trim it with? He goes, pair of scissors. And I'm like, okay. And what happened? And he goes, and I accidentally cut myself. I said, were you bleeding? He goes, yes. I said, bad? And he says, oh, a little bit. And my wife goes, do you want my wife or me to check it out? And he goes, I'll have Mom. And I was just like, and my daughter's in the other room losing it. She's on the couch just dying laughing. Could not stop laughing. She is in full breakout laughing tear mode. And I walk in there and she says, I can't handle this family anymore. I just tell you. And I was like, hey. And she said, I said, sometimes you got to trim that baby down, And I said, you didn't cut the old wiener, did you? And he goes, no. And so I just had to laugh. But he was doing a little manscaping, as you call it, and got a little close and cut himself. So I was like, wow. So I don't know what happened after that because I came downstairs, and my wife apparently checked it. But I didn't hear any ambulances rolling up, so I think we're good. And I didn't hear him leaving for the hospital, so it couldn't have been too bad. But other story I want to talk about is on New Year's Eve, we had very, unexciting New Year's. For me, I had watched the ending on the ball drop watch Mariah Carey's debacle. But stayed up till midnight here and drank kids' wine. That's what I had. Well, so I go upstairs. I was down here a little later, and I was doing some stuff. I went upstairs to go, and it'd be 1:30. So I go upstairs, and my kids are watching SpongeBob. And I'm like, what are you doing? And my son's got his head laid over, my older son, on the couch. He goes, sleeping. I said, well, get up. Go upstairs to bed. So he gets up, and he can barely walk. He's stumbling and everything. And I said, what's wrong? I'm just really tired, he says. So he stumbles into the kitchen. I said, what is your problem? And he stumbles into the living room. I said, shut off the light. And he goes to shut off the light, and he falls onto the floor. And he lays there on the floor, and so I kicked him in the foot, and I said, get up, go to bed. I said, what is your problem? Well, come to find out, my daughter asked me the next day, and I thought, something was wrong, but I couldn't smell anything. My sinuses are really bad right now. And so the next day, my daughter asked me, goes, hey, did you drink the 2 peach Mike's Hard Lemonade that were in the fridge? And I think we're missing one of the, what do they call it, the best damn root beers. And I was like, so That's what happened. So apparently my son, who's 17, proceeded to drink alcohol on his own and take it out of the fridge. So I was not very happy with him, and I grounded him for 2 weeks. So I saw a thing posted on Facebook, and I wondered if this would be a legit punishment. But it was like a paper that was printed out. It says, congratulations, you got grounded. It said, to get ungrounded, you must earn 500 points. And it says offense, and this one it says, playing on the phone after bedtime. Well, you could change the offense. It had an open spot where you write it in. It said, things to gain points. Write a nice letter to someone in the family, 10 points. Prepare and cook dinner, 50 points. Wood loan the laundry. Wash, dry, fold, put away, 100 points. Clean and organize the kitchen cupboard, 50 points per cupboard. Empty the dishwasher, 25 points. Load the dishwasher, 25 points. Clean and wash off counters, 25 points. Clean out the microwave, 40 points. Clean and vacuum the living room, 30 points. Sweep and mop the kitchen, 30 points. Wash windows, 10 points per window. Water house plants, 10 points. Dust living room, 25 points. Clean the bathroom, sink, toilet, and floor, 50 points. Take out the trash and rebag, 10 points per bag. And it says, oops, I got to close that window down so I can see. Oh, there we go. And it says clean litter box, which we don't have one. It was 10 points. So I just wondered if that would have been a legit punishment. So if anybody is listening in long enough to make a comment about it, hashtag a tweet Arm Radio, or tweet me at Little Hayes 80 on Hotmail, or I mean on Twitter, and or post it on my Straight Talk with Matt Hasley. What you think about it? So I'm going to actually post that as a punishment. What they think what I think that would be a legit punishment. So yeah, I was a little frustrated with him, and the biggest thing wasn't that he did what he did. It was that I lost my trust in him, and that was the thing. You got to have the trust. So now I have to do everything he tells me I have to take with a grain of salt. I have to sit there and go, I don't know. Is he telling me the truth or not? So, in odd news, we had a Boy Scout leader down 23 ghost peppers to raise funds for his troop. I don't know what would make you want to do that, but apparently Troop 137 based in Fredericksburg posted a YouTube video that opened with the troop master, Gain Young, explaining to the assistant scout master, Johnny, what he was about to eat 23 ghost peppers. I'm sorry. That's way too much for me. Also, apparently, yeah, he has an iron stomach. That's what somebody said. What is it? Another one is here. This happened in Texas. Texas prankster tricks neighbor into tossing self-aware printer. It says, my neighbor just got an unsecured wireless printer, so I sent this to him. It says, hello, I am your printer. I am becoming self-aware. So the Houston man tweeted the saga, how he got a free printer by pranking a neighbor who failed to secure his network connection. So what he did was, he noticed that the neighbor had a new wireless printer on an unsecured connection, so he instructed it to print message, hello, I am your printer. I have become self-aware. Run. The prank took an unexpected turn the following day when Messick discovered his neighbor had put the printer out by the curb. So that's just cruel. So, and he goes, thanks, neighbor. Yeah, So, and I think I just closed out my. Let me see here. Maybe he was the one that hacked Podesta. That's probably what it was. Oops. Trying to get my. There we go. Also, we had this. This is a great one here. I love this one. Texas police. This apparently all the stories are coming out of Texas tonight. Texas police mistake a rap video shoot for an armed robbery in progress. Lake Jackson, Texas. A music video shoot in Texas became a premature end when rappers dressed as bank robbers drew the attention of actual police. Angelton rappers True Keezy and Young Groovy said the members of the crew were filming scenes for a music video outside of Lake Jackson Credit Union on New Year's Day when Lake Jackson police arrived on the scene with their guns drawn. I think maybe they should have warned them ahead of time. The rappers explained to police that they were actually shooting a music video with a bank robbery theme and their guns were not loaded. It was a bad idea with a good reason, True said. Lake Jackson Police Sergeant John Kirk said the rappers explained that they had thought the bank was closed when they decided to film, but the man dressed as robbers was spotted by a cleaning crew who triggered the credit union's alarm about 1:45 p.m. Said the men were released without any charges, but that's wild. Yeah, you might want to do is let people know or ask what you're going to do ahead of time so you don't end up getting shot. Well, it's that time of the night. It is a fast hour. Be on tomorrow night for Night Talk with Joe Rocks. But if you see something, say something, and be safe out there. Remember, don't be a statistic. Protect yourself. So everybody have a great night, and we'll see you on tomorrow night on Night Talk with Joe Rocks, and I'll be back Friday night for more Straight Talk.